All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Friday morning Perk breakfast meeting on Zoom. Today is the 16th of July. I can't believe we're halfway through the month already. Al, why don't you get us started?
Okay, let's do it. Okay, Duane, can you hear that?
Absolutely, Al. Loud and clear.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, today we have our guest speaker is Duane Hunt from Miracle Ear, and he's going to be talking about, as you can see on the screen, hearing health and memory loss. Go ahead, Duane.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for taking the opportunity to let me speak and for listening this morning. What I'd like to talk about is basically the symptoms of hearing loss as we age and some of the effects you can have on not only the person that's suffering, but their social circle, their family, their friends. Right now in America, the estimates are that there's over 46 million people that have a measurable hearing loss. That works out to be about 1 of every 7 people you know, men, women, and children. As you age, that incidence, the increases. By the age of 60, the ratio is about 1 of every 4 people. By the time you reach to 70, it's almost 2 out of 3, and then continues to increase. Now, obviously, that is a huge percentage of the population. Unfortunately, of those people suffering from the memory loss, less than 20% are actually shown to take any type of help to remedy that. Now, untreated hearing loss has been proven. It increases social anxiety, isolation, withdrawal, can cause depression, leads to an increased incidence of falls around the house. Dr. Stig Arlinger, who was conducting research at the University Hospital in Sweden, is quoted as saying that uncorrected hearing loss gives rise to a poorer quality of life related to isolation, reduced social activity, a feeling of being excluded, and increased symptoms of depression. There's a significant correlation between uncorrected hearing loss and reduced cognitive function. Now, cognitive function is the overall function of your brain, essentially. A lot of times, if there's a hearing issue, it can lead to an understanding concern. Now there's 2 problems. That is caused because the auditory nerves and the auditory cortex in the brain actually rely on signals that come from the ears to function. And kind of like a muscle, if you don't use it, you lose it. If they're not getting the right signals, the right stimulation, they can actually atrophy and lose opportunity to work. That can't be fixed. If that's gone, that's a permanent loss. And it's something else that these people may have to deal with. Sometimes the conditions combine themselves. And what this does, we talk about quality of life. It's not only for the person that's suffering. The person that's suffering from a hearing issue obviously has a diminished quality of life, but it also affects his friends, their family, their social circle, the people they used to be with. The kind of domino effect goes out to everybody. I talked earlier that as you age, that incidence increases. 60, it's 1 of 4. 50, at the age of 70, it's 55% have a measurable hearing loss. And by the time you reach the age of 80, it's 78% of the people. That is a huge number. And again, a lot of those people don't do anything to fix it. There's a lot of reasons for that. One, understand that if you have a hearing loss, most of the time that happens so slowly, so gradually that you don't realize it's happening. A lot of times before people realize there's a problem, come and see somebody, that's been occurring for 7 to 10 years. It just feels the same every day until all of a sudden your friends, your family come up to you and, why can't you hear me? How come I can hear the TV from the driveway? You're yelling into the phone to them. You have to repeat things 3 or 4 times. And a lot of times when people come in, it's because their family and their friends have gotten fed up with trying to communicate with them and basically chase them in here where they don't realize there's a problem. Another issue, things like vanity. People don't want to admit it. There is a stigma associated with a hearing loss. Rightfully or not, it is something that's there. And there's also the ones that just deny it. Talk to people, you might know people that it's not that bad. It's not my fault. Kids don't know how to talk today. This TV is no good. And they come up with every excuse in the book not to do anything. I talked earlier about, a couple different things combining. When there's a hearing loss in the brain, basically it puts a load on the other functions in the brain. Your mind is an incredible organ. It does amazing, unbelievable things, but it only has so much power. There's so much energy. And if that energy is being diverted to help you figure out what was that sound, what was that word, it puts a load on the other processes in the mind. What's been shown to suffer first are the areas of memory and logic. And memory and logic lead to what's commonly referred to as some signs of dementia. When this, is occurring, it happens slowly, as I said. A couple things to watch for. Not only the obvious things like people asking what or what did you say, but a lot of times it shows itself in more of an understanding concern. You might explain something to someone, tell them something, and they kind of give you a half a blank stare and say, could you repeat that? I didn't quite catch that the first time, making it sound like they're not understanding. Other signs that would be, to watch for, people that used to be the life of the party, always happy, go lucky, and now over the course of time, maybe they're finding excuses not to go to lunch, or they don't want to be out, they don't want to come to the party, they find excuses not to do things. And instead of smiling and happy all the time, now maybe they're sitting at the side and just kind of looking out the window and watching things. That may be a sign that there's something going on that should be addressed. It'd be a good idea to talk to them and find out if they could be checked, not only for hearing, but for anything else. The combination of effects is also shown, as I mentioned earlier, for depression. A lot of people are advocating basically that anyone in any of those scenarios be checked for hearing along with mental well-being and make it a two-prong attack, basically a two-prong interaction to see if there is something that can be completed or to help with those people. I want to talk a little bit about a study that was completed by Dr. Frank Lin at the Johns Hopkins Center on Aging. He's quoted as saying that longitudinal studies in community dwelling older adults have demonstrated that hearing impairment is independently associated with a 30 to 40% rate of accelerated cognitive decline on both auditory and non-auditory cognitive testing, and with a substantially increased risk of incident all-cause dementia. Compared to individuals with normal hearing, those individuals with a mild, moderate, or severe hearing impairment, respectively, had a 2, 3, and 5-fold increased risk of incident all-cause dementia over a greater than 10 years follow-up period. Study following that by the Lancet Commission in 2017 found that of all known modifiable risk factors for dementia, including obesity, smoking, diabetes, and early life education, hearing loss in mid to late life was a single risk factor accounting for the greatest proportion of dementia risk. As you see on this slide, hearing impairment leads to the increased cognitive load that I mentioned. It can cause changes in the brain's structure and function, leading to reduced social engagement, all of which can lead to dementia risk. And that's factoring out anything common like age or microvascular. Another thing mentioned there, if a person is suffering from a brain condition to begin with, for example, microvascular disease, then you add a hearing loss or an understanding concern on top of it, now it's a double hit. Now there's two things that they have to deal with on top of everything else. I'm going to jump ahead here a little bit. Understand that if someone has a hearing concern, you or someone you care for, this is not something that's going to get better by ignoring it. You can't walk it off. You can't take 2 aspirin and call somebody in the morning. It's not going to go away. It will gradually get worse. The worse that it gets, the more difficult it would be to correct, and it may lead to situations where it can't be corrected. If you know someone in those circumstances, it would be important to reach out and get the questions answered, if nothing else, sooner rather than later. The longer any loss goes on, the more risk of domino effects that I've mentioned, losing more faculties. And again, the one that I guess concerns me the most is running the risk of bringing on dementia. Nobody wants that. And one thing here, again, a report from the Lancet International Commission on Dementia in 2017 states that 9% of dementia cases could be eliminated if all hearing loss were eliminated. That's a huge number. Dementia is expected to double every 20 years. The rates of dementia among our population are expected to double every 20 years. That's a huge percentage of the people, and 9% of that can strictly be linked to hearing loss. Now, I'm going to put my contact information up. I'll be happy to answer questions if possible. But the screen that's on right now, if you or someone you care for fits one of those, I would recommend getting a hearing test. We do those free of charge. I don't charge. There's no obligation for a hearing test. Find out what's going on. If that is the situation, it's relatively simple to fix. Hearing loss can be treated many, many different ways, but get some help and don't let them fall down that rabbit hole where it gets to the point where even with help now, you're still going to suffer and still have a difficult time in life. So with that, I thank you folks for listening. I appreciate your time, truly. And I'll put my information in the chat box if you'd like to reach out privately and talk. I'd be more than happy to do that with you also. So, Therese, I thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Duane. Does anybody have any questions to ask?
I have a question. Duane, once you convince somebody to get the hearing aids, how do you get them to wear them? I know we have a big problem with my dad. You know, he had these like super duper hearing aids, but we couldn't get him to wear them.
That's actually not an uncommon problem. What I do is basically counseling with the people from the get-go. If they're an initial client or if they're an existing client. Some of the same stuff that I just shared with you here, I'll share with them. A lot of times, and we're all probably guilty of the same thing. If somebody tells you you have to do something, your back kind of goes up a little bit. None of us like to be told what to do. But if I explain to you why it's important to you and important to your family that that's taken care of, it becomes a lot easier for them to accept that. Again, a lot of it I'm finding is there's a stigma. People, you know, they think hearing aids make them look old. And I try to convince them, no, it's not the hearing aids. It's sitting in the corner going, what? That makes you look old.
Tell them they're made by Apple. People will put all sorts of weird looking things in their ears.
Actually, we have new ones now that look like they're made by Apple. They look like earbuds.
Wow. The other thing is, because I have a family member who is a client of Duane's, when we go in for the checkup, Duane puts the hearing aids into the system on the computer and he can tell how many hours a day on average they were being worn.
Yeah.
So that's like, oh, I can't do this and pretend like I'm wearing them all the time.
Yeah, which upsets some people, but they get over that one quickly.
Hey, Duane.
Yeah.
Here's a weird one that I've never heard of anybody experiencing before. Have you ever heard of anybody experiencing a low frequency tinnitus?
Yes.
Really? Okay. So, I mean, really, truly very low frequencies, 100 hertz or something like that.
Yeah, it was described, I think he referred to it as whale sounds. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, normally tinnitus is a higher pitch or presents, I've also had people tell me it sounds like static. It sounds like fans, sounds like crickets. But I did have one person who it was just this low moan. He said it sounds like the things the ultra low frequency whale sounds you heard on TV.
I occasionally, very, very rarely get a low frequency tinnitus, usually when I'm laying prone. So of course I'm laying in bed
Mhm.
and I'm hearing what I think is in the neighborhood of, like a 60 hertz hum. And everything's turned off. And,
Yeah.
I'll go outside and is there a truck parked nearby? And nope, nope, nope. It's
Okay.
goes away.
Yeah. Tinnitus is tricky. They don't know exactly what causes it, and there's lots of different theories on it. Since they don't know the cause, they don't know the cure because they can't tackle what they can't see. A lot of times it's associated with a hearing loss, but not necessarily. And on a lot of occasions, if people are suffering from tinnitus, wearing hearing aids have been shown to help. Sometimes it goes away completely, sometimes it's better, and sometimes it doesn't help at all. But if you let the mind hear sounds that are actually there as opposed to making up its own, it does help a lot of people if it's a hearing loss related occasion.
Anybody else?
Duane, I had a question. The numbers that you gave, in terms of increasing hearing loss with age, I mean, that's kind of staggering. The percentages, is
Yeah.
that just a function? Is that just a physiological function of aging, or what causes that significant increases?
The main cause of hearing loss is age.
Wow.
Age is the leading contributor. It could also be caused, people like to blame it on too many rock concerts when they were young. Probably not. Yeah, there you go. To have noise-induced hearing loss basically requires exposure of over 85 decibels for 8 hours a day for an extended period of time. 85 decibels is Times Square rush hour, that level of noise. It can also be brought on anyone that has gone through chemo. A lot of the chemotherapy drugs can cause hearing loss. It's also linked to hypertension, can bring it on. Kidney disease, heart disease are all related to it. And I have a list of over 200 common medications that can be attributed to causing hearing loss, including things like Advil, aspirin, some of the sinus medications.
I also just wanted to make a comment on what you said about the social isolation and actually how important that is. My mom suffered from hearing loss for about half her life. She had an anatomical problem, but watching her as she aged, and especially when she went into assisted living, she was the most optimistic woman in the world, but you could tell she couldn't she couldn't connect with people. She couldn't understand people. And, and I know that eventually I'm sure it took a toll on her, mentally as well as physically. So that part that you mentioned is really important about the social isolation. People don't do anything about it. And all of a sudden they realize they can't really connect with anybody because they're not really understanding or hearing what's being said around them, even though they let on they are.
Yeah, a lot of them let on, and you're absolutely right. Social isolation has been indicated as one of the main contributors to the overall decline of health in the senior citizens today. We are not meant to be isolated. And over the past year and a half, all of us have been subjected to that to one degree or another. You kind of get a taste of it. Well, now put yourself in that situation where now you can't hear the birds, you can't hear the dogs, you can't hear your friends talking on the phone, and you try and fake your way through it until you get to the point depressed and unfortunately give up sometimes. And that's a terrible way to be. I've had people in my office that their partner with them said, well, they're kind of losing it. We don't know how much they understand, but, trying to get this to see if they can help. And after some minor testing, put a set of demonstrator hearing aids in their ears, and they're answering questions and taking part in the conversations. And I look at the partner that came in with them and their jaws are hanging open. They had no clue. Again, it happens so slowly, it kind of sneaks up on you until all of a sudden it's like, oh, here you are.
Duane, I have a question.
Yes.
My son has those Beats headphones, and sometimes when we're in the car, I could hear the music too loud. And is that could be a contributing factor to hearing loss down the road? And what can I say to him to lower it because I think it's way too loud.
Two parts there. First, yes, if he's listening, again, that threshold, the common threshold is considered to be 85 dB. If he's listening at 85 decibels or above for extended periods of time, it very well may lead down the road to hearing loss or accelerate any hearing loss that would be there naturally. As far as, how do you explain to him to turn him down? I have 5 kids and I have no clue how to answer that question.
Oh, goodness.
Unless you can put a limiter on his phone or something that only goes to a certain volume, that's not my field.
And my mom, I want my mom to get checked out, and I did give her your phone number. She just hasn't called you yet. But when I go to her house, the TV is so loud. I'm just like, shut this, lower this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Reach out. Again, the testing is no cost, no obligation. Get her set in. And again, just to point out, if you know of somebody who truly needs help, truly you care about, you want to find some answers for them, if they cannot get to me, I do house visits if that's what's required, as long as all the safety protocol are being followed.
Excellent. Any other questions before we move on? All right, well, thank you so much, Duane. I have to say that the hearing test that Duane does is so detailed, and I learned so much from him when I was with my family member who was being tested. It was an eye-opening experience. And then you get a chart on where your hearing loss is, and it's right there on paper. It's a fact. It's not like somebody's guessing at what's wrong. So I think I actually want to get the hearing test just to experience that and see where my levels are at this age.
Where I am.
What was that?
I said, you know where I am.
I know where you are. That's right. So I highly recommend anybody go. What was that, Carrie?
I'm sorry. I have a comment or two
Go ahead.
to show my age. I remember, I guess it was in high school, maybe sooner, where we used to get our ears tested and we would go like this.
Mhm.
Do you do that? And then, are you an ear doctor?
I am not. My license,
ENT, I
I'm a
guess it was.
licensed hearing instrument specialist. Okay, I'm not because physical doctor, I'm not an audiologist. I'm a licensed hearing instrument specialist. My training is in testing, consulting, and fitting of hearing aids. The difference between myself and an audiologist, I can't write a prescription and I cannot send you for an MRI. So if we see anything that would require that, I do have a few ENTs in the area that I work with, and you immediately get referred over to someone who I know will take care of you.
Okay. And actually, over the past month or so, I've had 2 of the people that I walk my dog and I run into people. And one lady was like, I don't have my hearing aids in, and whatever, they broke or something. And I was just like, I have someone that you can go to. And she was like, I already have someone, I don't know, what does that mean that they have someone? They just have an ENT, or do they have someone to go to like a Miracle Ear store?
Could be
And how do I
anything.
tell them, well, this guy, blah, blah, blah.
Well, and I greatly appreciate that. If they have someone, it could be anything from an ENT to another provider. Or, my cousin Charlie, that's pretty good with small electrical stuff.
Yeah, right. He's got that little screwdriver.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we don't use those much anymore either.
Right.
It's all digital.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you
I'll
so
put my
much.
information in the chat. If someone wants to reach out privately, again, please do. I will get back to you and we'll go from there.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much, Duane. That was so much important information that you shared today. I'm so grateful that we took this time to share that with everyone.
Thank you.
All right. So yay. Oh, applause. Yay. All right, so next up, we are less than 1 week away from Beacon of Heroes. Oh my goodness, we have about 150 people showing up to that event. So much great, it's gonna be great connections and the people that we're honoring. Bonnie, can you talk? I think, are you there, Bonnie? Okay, I was trying to.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead. If you want to talk about Beacon, that would be really good.
Okay, well, everybody knows about Beacon of Heroes. We're 1 week away, and as Trey says, we are about 150 people. I think registration is closed. Is it closed today?
Yeah, today's the last day. Yeah.
So
It's been the
anybody,
last day for a while, but we keep squeezing people in. Yeah.
I'll convince Holly to add a couple more. So anybody who's not had the opportunity or to get your ad in, today is absolute drop dead day. We can't go past today. The office is working very hard on putting the ad journal together, and some stragglers, including myself, is getting our final ads in. So please help us support this beautiful, beautiful event to honor our hospitals and our commissioners and the different associations. And of course, Kevin, our representative of, surviving COVID. Help us support these people and honor them for what they did this whole past year. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. So it's next Thursday, the 22nd. 5 p.m. is the cocktail hour. 6 o'clock is the award ceremony. So, and thank you to those who've already registered. We look forward to seeing you next week. Anybody have anything else to share? Let's see. Where is Catherine? Is that you on the phone, Catherine? Okay. Well, Mike and Gilda, why don't you share the about the lunch and learn that you're doing with Catherine?
Oh, good morning, everybody. We are going to be joining Catherine Dwyer on the Lunch and Learn, which is this Tuesday. And we're going to be talking about the ABCs of insurance. What your personal, your commercial, everybody thinks that, and I'm sure Bonnie can back us up on this, they think we're a commodity like what you see on television. What you see on television is Hollywood. It's not real life. So we're going to talk about that. Catherine is going to really take the lead, so she deserves a lot of the credit. We're going to be helping out. We're going to be filling in because, we insurance people, we come under fire now. Last year they were giving it away. They're giving you money back. Now they want their money back, and in some cases more, depending on the situation. So please join us. We'd be open to questions, and it would be nice to see a few faces and really contribute with regard to knowledge, and where we can, we'll be happy to assist you. That's no problem. See you Tuesday.
All right. Thank you, Gilda. Carrie, since you're on here and you are a part of the Young Professionals, why don't you talk about what's coming up for the Young Professional group?
All right, so for the Young Professionals group this month, rather than having our Tuesday morning meeting, we're going to be having a Tuesday night meeting at Tommy's Tavern and Tap in Freehold. And the date on that is currently in my email, July 20th, this coming Tuesday. So you can register online, but it's business after hours instead of our regular Tuesday morning meeting. It's going to be very fun and exciting.
Yay. Awesome. Okay, and then that brings us up to Beacon. Next week's Perk. Again, stay tuned. We're still working out the details about the food, but we're really close to being able to do this in person. So stay tuned, watch the emails, and definitely check in with us so you know where to show up for next week. And that's I think that's about it for upcoming events. Let's see, let's start going around the room. Let's go with Gerald, Hazel, and John Inzella.
Good morning, Chamber. Gerald Ciosi. I'm a real estate and bankruptcy attorney. If you know someone buying or selling a home or a commercial property, or if you know someone who has a landlord-tenant issue, that's somebody I want to talk to. I also help people stay in their homes. So if you have a friend or family member who has been hurt by COVID, maybe had a job loss and couldn't pay the mortgage, the foreclosure statute is being reinstated as quickly as the banks can get it in, which would probably mean January after the election. So foreclosure is going to become a thing again, and you need to protect yourself. If you know someone in that situation, have them contact me, Gerald Ciosi, real estate and bankruptcy attorney.
Thank you, Gerald.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Hazel from Amada Senior Care Monmouth. We are America's leading resource for caregiving and long-term care insurance advocacy. Our goal is to provide assistance to our seniors in their activities of daily living, and of course, provide help to their family members, care for their loved ones. So I'm going to put my information in the chat box and hope everyone has a nice weekend.
Thank you, Hazel.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, John Anzilla from Murphy Business Sales. I live in Monmouth County and I serve the Monmouth County territory, including the entire county. Also through referrals, I can do business across the country. So, but my primary area is here in Monmouth. So if you know somebody that would like to discuss exit planning, business valuations, buying or selling a business, definitely please reach out to me. We're very diversified. We don't just deal in one industry. We do commercial industrial products, have a grout and tile restoration company, a deli, sports equipment, e-commerce company, an antiques, wood refinishing business. These are all in Monmouth County, just to kind of illustrate how diversified our portfolio is and the clients we deal with. So I look forward to any referrals, and I will leave my information in the chat as well. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks.
Thanks, John. Next up, Joanne Colella, Tom Principe, and Carrie Gazowitz.
Good morning, everybody. It's Joanne Colella. My business is Colella Communications. I can help you put whatever your message is into writing and with best use of words. The tagline for my business is when every word matters. So if you need marketing materials, website content, social media posts, perhaps a presentation or a video script. Now video is really big on people's websites. I can help you either create new content, update, or perfect existing content and get your word out. Joanne Colella, Colella Communications.
Thank you, Joanne.
Good morning, Perks. Tom Principe. My company is Sales Success. If you know of a small business owner who is struggling to grow sales or looking to accelerate their sales, the best way to do that is through developing a sound strategy, putting the right people and process in place, and then measuring and tracking execution to drive the results. If they know how to do that, they're all set. If they don't, they should call me. Tom Principe, Sales Success.
Thank you, Tom.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carrie Gazowitz. I work at Berniker Iger in Lang CPA. We have offices in Lakewood and Eatontown. It seems like it should be a quiet time of the year for taxes, but we also handle bookkeeping with our small and medium-sized businesses, and as well as helping people who want to make sure that they're on track so that they don't have a big tax bill at the end of the year. For example, people who got new jobs or got a really big raise and just want to make sure they stay on track. We work with all those people so they don't get surprised next April. Hopefully next year taxes are due in April. Past 2 years, we don't know. So any questions, you can contact me. My info is in the chat box. And happy Friday.
Thank you, Carrie. Next, Bonnie Preston, Carrie Kiskowski, and Steve Rosen.
Good morning, Bonnie Preston. I'm a certified insurance counselor with Conover Buyer. I'm a personal and commercial lines insurance agent. I really want you all to support this Lunch and Learn on Tuesday with Catherine and the Healy's. You know, people's eyes glaze over when you say the word insurance. They will speak to what goes into the underwriting and why do certain things cost money. It's very important to understand where you're spending your premium dollars. And as we always stress to you, what you're seeing on TV is not always what's best for you. And we have a lot to say about 800 numbers. So please go take the time, go to the Lunch and Learn and understand where your premium dollars are really going. Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Hi.
Carrie Kiskowski. You can't hear us? Oh, you
Hear
can't
me.
talk. She can't talk. All right, so Steve, go ahead.
Okay, Steve Rosen, job's done right. You might have noticed it's a little warm out. You might have stuff to do. If you don't want to go out and do it, send me. I'll take care of it. Job's done right. Steve Rosen.
All right, thank you, Steve. All right, next up, Joanne Gubitosi, Jim Roth, and Karen Smith.
Hi, everyone. Joanne Gubitosi with Touchstone Crystal, also known as the Sparkle Lady. If you need a special sparkle gift, definitely reach out. Swarovski is quality jewelry. I'm enjoying the online virtual platform that we been doing since with the pandemic. So if you want a tight budget and you want to get some free jewelry, definitely reach out. You can get your girlfriends together. And I also do fundraising opportunities. So if anybody has an interest. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Joanne Gubitosi with Touchstone Crystal.
Thank you, Joanne.
Sorry, some distractions up around here. Am I up next?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Jim Roth from Rock Solid Tech Support, computer and network support, repairs and troubleshooting for Windows and Mac at your small business, home office, wherever it happens to be. Something I was working on this past week is going to be a project that I get into this coming week. You've heard me talk about this before, mesh networks. This is basically a replacement for your home router or office router, and it has a router and a number of other router-looking devices that would be scattered about your office or home and would extend the network throughout the entire building or property. This particular person has a very large house. It's got to be 4,000 square feet in Wall Township, and a big backyard and a swimming pool and all that. And they want this thing, they want this Wi-Fi network working next to the pool. So we're going to get that extended for them. When you get your pool set up at home, you can give me a shout and we'll get your Wi-Fi extended out to the pool too. Jim Roth, Rock Solid Tech Support. Oh, and Carrie, if you want to put your information in the chat, I'll volunteer somebody to do a dramatic reading for you. No, nobody's buying that. All right. Anyway, moving on.
Thanks, Jim.
Good morning, everyone. Karen Smith, Keller Williams Real Estate, your full-time residential commercial agent. My goal is to help you find the next address chapter for your home, your business. It's been my pleasure to work with people both in buying homes, selling commercial properties. The real estate market is still rather competitive on the residential side. It has slowed a bit, and by that I tell people it's competitive, not as berserk. It is still pretty crazy in what we in Monmouth County call the starter home market, which is about 400,000, go figure. But on the commercial side, things are also picking up. I'm getting a lot of inquiries for people looking for space. And, I think right now my featured property right now in this market is actually a rental in Wemrock Professional Plaza, right across from the Barcalow School on Stillwell's Corner. It's 1,300 square feet and change, 3 offices, 2 open workspaces, 2 bathrooms, a break room area, and 2 separate entrances. Rent on that is $2,300 a month plus utilities. So if you know someone who's looking to downsize their business, upsize their business, get it off the dining room table, please have them give me a call. My contact info will be in the chat.
All right, thank you so much, Karen. And just a correction on the date of the Lunch and Learn, it's actually Wednesday, July 21st. So because YPG is doing their evening event, I didn't think Catherine was doing 2 events in one day. So Tuesday evening is the YPG event. Wednesday afternoon at 12 is the Lunch and Learn, okay? All right, Jim Brickle, is that you on the phone?
Yes, it is, Therese.
All right.
Good morning,
Okay,
everybody.
so yeah, you can go next, and then we'll have Ryan Salin and then the Healy's.
Good morning. It's Jim Brickle, Comcast Business Services. We partner with business on all levels. If you're partnering with an IT guy, chances are they're partnering with us. Our business is keeping your business going. I'd be happy to help anybody with any questions about their connectivity, their phone systems, their surveillance system requirements, even internet backup, and more. Everybody have a nice weekend.
Thank you, Jim. Ryan,
Hi
yeah.
everyone, my name is Ryan. I'm the executive director of Greater Than the Game. We're a nonprofit dedicated to inspiring people through sports. And we have a new article coming out today. If you want to check it out, we're at greaterthanthegame.org. But I hope everyone has a great weekend.
Thank you, Ryan.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike Healy. This is my wife, Gilda Healy, and together we are Healy Brokerage. Good referrals for us right now. Cyber liability, workman's comp insurance, flood insurance, and homeowners insurance, honey.
And let's not forget, now that we're coming out of the pandemic and we're meeting more in person, a lot of venues want you to carry that one-day event insurance. We're going to hear from somebody today who will be interested in that kind of insurance. And another thing is workers' comp. As people are coming back to work, you need to protect the worker from injury on the job. Now with COVID, that's going to confound that. Not just injury, but also protect the employer. We continue to tell this to everybody we serve, from Niagara Falls
to the shores of Cape May. We've
got you covered.
Gilda and Mike Healy, Healy Brokerage. Everybody have a great weekend and stay cool.
Fantastic. So next is Mitali, and then Carrie, whenever you're ready, just raise your hand. Okay. Well, now you're going to go next to after Mitali. So.
Again? That
Again.
was what I was
tried to
telling
get her in
Carrie a few
earlier.
minutes back.
I
We were
tried to
just
get her in
talking
earlier.
together. We were like, what if she puts us together again? Let's just do it together.
I called you earlier. You weren't ready.
Natalie, let's come up with something like Gilda and Mike.
I know, right? Who has heard about the latest hacks that has been happening? Morgan Stanley? All right. So Morgan Stanley was recently hacked. How do you know if you got hacked or not? You need to make sure security is something that you have covered on your end. And the biggest thing is that your data is not running around loose anywhere, or you have no access to your data. One good thing that you could do for yourself is to back your data up to the cloud. So cloud backup is a big thing these days. So if your system ever crashes and Jim is not able to pull it together, and it's on its last leg, you can go ask Jim to get you a new computer, and we can help you restore everything back. So here we have Carrie, who can follow me on the same trend. Go ahead, Carrie.
Thank you, Mitali.
Thank you, Mitali. Sorry about that. First of all, sorry, everybody. I was supposed to be talking to Mitali privately, and it came through to everybody, but Carrie from The Connection. And yeah, so we have 3 tech people on here, and we do the same, but sometimes different. We actually I don't know if they do it, but we do everything for you. Once you take us on board, it's a low monthly charge per user. And you know how you're sitting on the phone, maybe with Comcast for hours at a time, we actually do that for you. So once we take you over your computer, or whatever you want to call a PC, you have nothing to worry about anymore. And playing off what Mitali was saying, there are many, many ransomware attacks out there, not just the one she mentioned. Kaseya was a recent one, and then about the pipeline. So, and I mentioned last week, the lady across the way, I've been begging her to grab us, and she got hacked. So it doesn't matter how small or big you are, talk to one of the 3 of us. I mean, this is very serious stuff. And I just wanted to also say that the symposium, we all know, was a success. Thanks to everybody that was involved, and we're doing it again mid-October. So if anybody's interested, finding out more, my information is in the chat. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Sean Keating, you're up. Then we'll go to Al, and then we'll go to Tamara. You're on mute. Unmute yourself.
Nobody wants to hear what I have to say anyway.
Some of us are really on a Friday mood.
Oh, no, that's not true. Come on.
First thing I wanted to do is I wanted to thank the Monmouth Regional Chamber of Commerce on behalf of the Association of United States Army. So we were notified. Thank you guys for the amazing amount of money you raised during the golf outing. That's going to help a lot of ROTCs for the next couple of years. So it's very, you're going to be busy for a while showing up, handing out awards.
That's our pleasure, Sean. Our pleasure. The golf committee did an amazing job.
So thank you to everyone that put that together. Basically, same thing. I do financial planning and taxes. This way you can buy your whole life. Don't look at people myopically. I don't say, well, here's your tax life over here. Let me plan your retirement. Let me plan the sale of the business. People look at you in a silo. The decisions here don't take into account everything else. So what we do is we're a family office type structure. We have CFAs, EAs, CFPs, insurance specialists that basically look at your whole life as one unit. And that way all of your different aspects work together faster and you get more with what you do. And for small business owners, the IRS is hiring 17,000 new auditors before September. And the task with raising and tracking dollars through tax return enforcement. So I've been doing all morning. Actually, I've been responding to multiple letters from the IRS that everybody's receiving in the state of New Jersey and the state of New York. If you're getting with those nasty grams, give me a buzz. I'll help you understand what it means.
All right. Thank you, Sean. Al, you're up.
Yes. Okay. Morning, everyone. Duane, that was a great job. Very, very informative. Boy, you know, personal experiences, yes, I've come across the situation. Thankfully, I'm still hearing everything, so it wasn't me. But anyhow, again, great job, Duane. I'm your independent insurance broker, and I handle all life and health and disability, long-term care, etc., and specializing in annuities. We have some great rates on annuities. You know, people who are changing positions, maybe want to roll over a 401k plan, changing jobs, or just simply want to make sure they have a guaranteed income for life in a few years, whatever they decide. There are a lot of flexibility. Annuities are not like your grandfather's annuities. There are many, many options on how to take advantage of the distribution. That's when you want to take your money out. That's the whole reason for your setting up your pension. Is this time when you want to take the money out. So those options are all available to you when you decide to do that. And of course, I handle all the health insurance needs from individuals, small group, and senior citizens. Again, everybody have a nice week. Stay cool, and I provide peace of mind with a greater level of service. Aloisi.
All right, thank you, Al.
Good morning, everybody. Tamara Guda, New York Life. I help people plan and protect for the future. I help small business owners plan for their retirement, as well as help with business solutions and employee benefits. A lot of people are having a hard time bringing in employees and retaining employees. Enhancing your benefits could be at no cost to you, which would help entice people to come to work for you. But the thing I want to focus on today is strictly life insurance. If you have not done your life insurance plan, please talk to one of the life insurance professionals in the chamber. It is so important. And this week is a little personal for me. You all heard me talk about stories that I've told about clients who waited too long, and by the time I got to them were either uninsurable or they had passed away suddenly. Tomorrow is never promised to anybody. Just this past week, a close friend of mine lost one of their family members to COVID. So COVID is still very real. This was a healthy young man who passed away from COVID this week, leaving behind 4 children. 2 days later, I saw a GoFundMe page and it broke my heart. They know what I do for a living. They know how I help people. GoFundMe is not life insurance, friends. It is not a way to sustain should something happen. Have the right conversation with a professional now so that your family and your survivors aren't left asking people on Facebook to help. It is not life insurance, and that money will never last. Your church, your neighbors, they can only collect so much money to help you. That won't sustain your family after you are gone. You have to have the right conversations. If you own a home, you have homeowners insurance. If you own a car, you have car insurance. Your life is more valuable than any of those things to the people in your life. Do the right thing, have the right conversation. Any life insurance is better than no life insurance. Talk to one of us. We can help you. Do not leave your family in a lurch because tomorrow is never promised. You could get hit by a car tomorrow. Have the right conversations. Don't leave your family looking for help. Tamara Guda, New York Life.
Thank you, Tamara. Kathleen, is there anything that we missed as far as what we needed to share today? You gotta unmute, yeah.
Sorry, no, just that we have to close the ad journals,
Yeah.
like momentarily, as soon as, I got the last few in, because we have to get it to the printer. And I don't know when we're closing ticket registration either.
Well, ticket registration has to be today. They have to give a head count. So it has to be today as well. They're supposed to give a head count a week in advance, which was actually yesterday.
If you are not signed up for the Beacon, please do so. I promise you it is going to be a great, sorry for the sternness a little bit. What I had to say was a little bit tough and it was important, but on a fun note, join us for the Beacon. We had a great time at the golf tournament. That was our coming out party. Now is our grand reopening with 150 people registered. You don't want to miss this event. Also, help us honor the heroes of the last 16 months. The hospital systems were severely strained and they helped save this community, as well as our county commissioners. They truly made a difference to the small businesses of this community, as the hospitals made a difference to the lives of the people in this community. Help this chamber honor these heroes with our grand reopening next week at Beacon. Please, if you haven't signed up, please do so. I promise you, you will have a good time and you will help us honor these heroes of the last 16 months.
Thank you. Thank you, Tamara. Registration will be closed today at 5 o'clock, just so everyone knows. Okay. All right. Does anyone have any testimonials? We have a little time left. Ryan?
Jim Roth fixed my computer and it was driving me nuts because it was taking me like 25 minutes to turn it on. And he came over and like fixed it and it's been working great ever since. So I was freaking out thinking I had to get a new computer as mine's old, but he saved me from that.
Yay.
So thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And thank you, Ryan. Al, I saw you had your hand up before. Was there something you needed to share? No? Okay. Anybody else want to share? Gilda and then Gerald.
Good morning again. I want to say thank you, Duane, for the presentation. I've been a hearing loss sufferer for quite a few years, and you did confirm what other people have told me, and it's nice to know that I'm thinking on the right track. I also want to thank Joanne Colella for her patience with the Healys as we move forward in our advertisements and our videos. It's not going to be just Hollywood. She's making us look really, really good. And last but not least, Therese, I hope people appreciate what you do and what you have done for the chamber through the Unblinded and the Real Raw thing. I've been following through on that.
Nice.
And I've been offered to attend one of their big events in August with Michael. So thank you for bringing that all about.
Our pleasure. Absolutely our pleasure. I'm sure you'll find it beneficial, Gilda. They're a great group to work with. We will be doing more of the Real Raw Opens in August. We're going to be planning that shortly. So just keep your eyes and ears open to register. Usually we take 8 to 10 people for those events. So, and it's online. Joanne, did you raise your hand?
Yes, I want to thank Sean Keating for doing my taxes the last couple of years. He gave us really great information that we didn't know about. So thank you, Sean.
Sean knows his stuff, that's for sure. Awesome, thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, Hazel and then, oh, Gerald, you're still raising your hand. Okay, you're next.
No, but I just wanted to say thank you again to you, Therese, Tamara, Kathleen, and Bonnie for attending our grand opening yesterday. We did not know what to do, and you guys just jumped in and and helped us with the event. So we just really want to thank you again.
Oh, you're very welcome. You did a great job. The food was really good, and that cake was so yummy. It was good. So you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
Picking out your food choices.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Gerald.
Yeah, great presentation, Duane. It was very informative. Sean, I want to thank you for my taxes. Did a great job. And then Jim Roth, you saved me again on my computer. Took him 2 visits, but he got it done. Thank you, Jim.
All right. I love this. This is an awesome chamber. Sean.
In 2 weeks, I've been knowing for about a year. With everything going on, I get so busy, I had to hire a couple people after the season started. And basically gave Jim no time to try and set up a whole server system, networking system online. Things. Fortunately, my vocabulary is so terrible, it was easy for me to understand what I needed. And made it work.
All right. Thank you, Sean. All right, last call for testimonials before we sign off. Anybody else? All right, well, thank you, everybody. I hope to see most of you at the Beacon of Heroes Award ceremony next week. And have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye, Jim. Thanks for your help, Jim Roth,
Have a good
wherever you
weekend,
are.
everybody.